What is going on, guys? Craig1287 here, bringing you yet another Battlefield 4 video. There in the background is just going to be a random round to serve as the backdrop. I got three minor topics to discuss for this video. Some kind of random things. Some of it ties into Battlefield, some of it ties into Titanfall, and some of it ties into Steam. So three different topics, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the gameplay as I go over these little details. So let's get right into it. Titanfall, the beta, the application for the beta has started. Of course, as always, I will have a link in the video description down below for the registration process. But basically, click that link and it's going to ask you if you're wanting to do PC or Xbox One. Xbox 360, guys, your game has been delayed, so you will not be participating in this beta. But yeah, it says on there that blah blah blah. You know, you gotta subscribe to the Titanfall newsletter, but you do not have to have the game pre-ordered. There is in no way that it says it in there for either the PC or Xbox One version. So that's very cool. But you'll sign up and click on the one, and you just kind of follow the steps, giving them your Origin account name and like date of birth and things like that. But basically, you have until 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on February 17th. After that, you are screwed and have no chance of getting in. It is going to be, not everybody that signs up will gain access, so make sure you join at any point in time. It doesn't matter if you're that late. It is going to be random, but it's better safe than sorry. So get signed up for that, and on that 17th, they will send out the emails to those applicants who did get in. And I do, in case I don't get in, I've got some other TG guys and some of my other buddies that have signed up for this. In case I don't get in and they do, they're going to be letting me use the Origin account when they're off at work or something, and I happen to have a chance to get in some rounds. So that way I can make sure that I have some Titanfall beta footage to be uploaded onto this channel. And well, not only that, not just for your entertainment, but I wouldn't mind actually getting my hands on the game and seeing how it runs on PC and see if this gameplay and all these bots and all the hullabaloo is worth it. So I can't wait to get in on that. Next, the DICE Summit that happened in Las Vegas recently happened, and Rock Paper Shotgun, one of my favorite video game industry news folk, basically they got to sit down with one of the EA representatives and talked about the launches of Battlefield 4 and SimCity, both of which those games had very rough launches, and especially Battlefield 4. I mean, we're months into its life cycle, 3-4 months, and it still has some issues. So I love the game to death. The gameplay is so solid. Even once Titanfall comes out, I still plan to rock out a whole lot of Battlefield 4. But the game has a lot of issues. In fact, I actually just got done playing around, in which I kept getting stuck in invisible boxes. I would enter into a building, maybe things weren't rendering, it didn't seem like that, but I would just enter into a room, and I just couldn't move left, or I couldn't go forward, I couldn't go right, I couldn't even go back the way that I just got to that box, that location. So game still has a lot of weird issues, and they asked some pretty rough questions. They were not dancing around the bush. I mean, they don't outright say a lot of things. They kind of dance around certain topics, or just the phrases that they used. But I mean, look at their very first question. Oh, and of course, the link for this article is in the description down below. But yeah, look at the very first question that Rock Paper Shotgun asked. SimCity and Battlefield 4 both had terrible launches. I mean, that's just what they said to the person straight up. That was the very first thing. So, it's a very good interview. It's very short. He even comments on the brevity of it, but which is a bummer, of course. But I mean, the guy was asking some rough questions. I'm surprised he even got as far as he did. His final question is: as a customer in the wake of all this, SimCity and Battlefield 4, etc., why should I buy in during another EA launch? Why should I trust, say, Firefall? And yeah, I mean, his response for that was clearly very short and said, Titanfall is made by a different organization. Respawn has very firm control of their project. Best I can do for you. So, and that's where he gets cut off. The PR guy makes sure that they can't do any more questioning. So, But yeah, some really good questions in there. Not going to read the whole thing because that would make this into a very, very lengthy video, but definitely check that out. Just it's comical how direct they are in some of their questions. Typically, people doing interviews are not this direct. So check that out. And the final thing, again, link will be provided in the video description down below. And this is dealing with the Steam Dev Days. For some of you console guys, you guys might not know what this is, but Valve, the company that has been behind Left 4 Dead, Portal, Dota 2 that's coming out soon, or whatever it is, and of course Half-Life. They also made Steam, which is the software that I use pretty much for 99% of my PC purchasing these days. And they've also now made the Steam Machines, Steam OS, the Steam Controller, and all of that good stuff. Well, they've started doing these things called Steam Dev Days, and it's a thing kind of like E3 and CES, it's these conventions, but it's specifically for developers that make PC games, and they get to go there, and all the people that work at Valve that do things specific to all the different Steam achievements and Steam OS and Steam Machines and Steam Controller and all the different aspects that Valve does, soon to be the 3D stuff with the Oculus Rift. They have little lessons, or whatever you want to call it. They have presentations, and yeah, all these developers that are indie developers and big developer people, they get to sit in and listen to these presentations and hear what Valve is implementing into Steam and other software that they're doing. Source, I'm sure there's people that got in on some of the Source 2.0 things. I don't believe any of that was really covered to the public, but yeah, they get to go through and learn what they're going to be, all these tools that are going to be made available to them, and how they can use them as developers to make games that are more open for the consumer. One of the big things is they talk about community-driven content. This is one of the big things that they've been talking about. Obviously, it has been a huge success for Team Fortress and all of the community-created content for that, all the hats and weapons and items that people can make. Then you've got the Steam Workshop, where you can use that to make and distribute mods for specific games. Like Skyrim has been a huge hit. Left 4 Dead, I have a ton of Left 4 Dead and Skyrim mods on Steam Workshop, and tons of other games. And that has just been a real big push for them, is making things, consumer-driven marketplaces, consumer-driven content, foregoing DLC, and highly encouraging consumers to make and release free content for other Steam users. So it's a really, really cool thing that they're talking about that and really pushing that onto other devs. And they had people from Alienware, obviously Valve, and Intel. They had a bunch of these guys come on out and do some talks. And it is just a really, really cool thing. I'll have a link to that main article that was actually done by the Steam guys, and also a link directly to their Steam playlist. It is 28 videos on YouTube, 19 hours, and that's a lot. So I'm currently on video number 3, which is talking about the Steam controller, and I'm just kind of watching these, listening to these in the background as I am working. So definitely, I encourage you guys to do the same thing and to just go through that. Just bookmark the playlist to your bookmarks on your web browser, and just go through that whole thing over the next month or something. Just listen to these guys. These are some of the most brilliant minds in the video game industry, and it is fantastic to hear some of the things that they are doing and trying to help developers as a whole, not just their own company. They're encouraging competition and giving their competition tools to be better and to be a better competitor towards them and the games that they're making. So it's really, Valve is just such a great company. So guys, check that out, and you better like every one of those videos, because they deserve it for doing this, for putting all this together for us to watch. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the gameplay going on there in the background. What do you think about these three different things? The Titanfall Beta, the EA Defense attempt. I call it an attempt because I really think this guy should have just shut up. This EA guy was not giving some good answers that made them look good. Clearly a lot of that was a lie or half-truths. And then the Steam Dev Days. Check that out and comment below what you think, how much you love Valve, and think that they're the greatest developer on the face of the planet, because they're definitely up there as one of the top 3 in terms of quality and everything. So hope you guys have enjoyed all of it. Have a good one. Ta-ta. Oh man, this video actually did end up being really long.